catch that fool, you will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed. You're a scrawny little mouse taking over this old house, waiting for my chance to shine. I am gonna make you mine. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Spend a lot of extra time waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool, you will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Oh, but
Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Mouse Hunt community, how's everybody doing today? Happy New Year. It is January 3, 2020, making it the first feedback Friday of the year. Hope everybody's New Year is going well so far. And today the Hit Grab offices are closed, but I thought I'd pop on and say a quick hello, maybe do any kind of question and answer, just kind of see how everybody's doing on maybe the Great Winter Hunt and the New Year's phase. See how everyone's wrapping them up. Anyone needs any kind of last minute tips, tricks, or advice. Good morning, good morning. Hello, KDM, Ray, Chong, Eileen, Purple, Brian, Michelle, Red, Bintang, hello. Lady Nutsy, Happy New Year to you as well. And likewise, everyone else in the chat, wishing me a Happy New Year. Same to you. Some nice party emojis there, Purple. I like it. Well, Chong has a quick question to start things off. Is double, triple drop coming back? Yes, that is the plan. And actually, before the offices closed for the holiday break, we went through, we took care of a whole lot of the Lunar New Year functionality, content. It's pretty well all set to go. It's pretty turnkey. We were even kind of play testing it, playing through the whole event before we left. So I think when we come back that first week, there's going to be, kind of get our bearings back a little bit, run through everything a few more times, kind of look for any last minute little tweaks or polish or anything that happened to be missing. But yeah, the Lantern event will be back. Actually, I'll make myself smaller. I don't like being large. Too big. Any maps for Lunar New Year? I don't believe so. I don't think we did maps last year either. They just don't kind of feel good with the nature of the event, where it encourages you to go out and find double, triple loot drops throughout the game. And so I think they kind of go well with just the regular kind of maps. Whereas otherwise it's kind of more about sticking around in the stockpile location to amass these supplies. But if they just do maps the whole event, then you don't have the opportunity to go out and actually use those supplies outside of a stockpile location. And so that's kind of our reasoning and thought process for not having maps for Lunar New Year. Dana says, happy birthday. Oops, I mean happy New Year. And how long will Lunar New Year be? That is a good question. So yeah, some important dates maybe too, just to list off the bat when we get on that topic. So on Wednesday, January 8th, and I'm looking at a calendar so I don't do my infamous catastrophe of giving the wrong month or day number with the day of the week. But yes, Wednesday, January 8th is the end of the Great Winter Hunt. So on that day, you will still be able to send out golems. However, you will not be able to collect any additional golem parts. Most ways of obtaining pecan pecorino and animated snow, all those sort of resources will be gone. There'll be a few still lingering around, like the Snowball Showdown. I think you can win pecan pecorino on that. So you'll be able to use up your last snowballs as well. But yeah, you'll still be able to send out your golem so you can use up all your final parts. If you have a little bit of a part imbalance, a good reminder that you can smash the parts into animated snow, and then animated snow you can spend at the shop for the summoning bells to have your golems return instantly. And so with that in mind, it's a good way to kind of get rid of as many golem parts as you can. I'm looking over at my HUD here. I'm wondering what else would change. So be able to play the Snowball Showdown. You could still capture the shorts all year, Mouse. You'll still be able to cash out and buy the various things with sugar cookies. That's that sugar cookies will not drop any longer. So basically any sort of resource you use to progress or any kind of a cash out item. So it's kind of that phase that lets you do your final cash out. The event mice will still stick around though. That's a little bit different from last year. I thought that might kind of help people if you're just finishing up a naughty or a nice list. You'll be able to wrap that up. And yeah, that's all that comes to mind. So then the other dates on Tuesday, January 14th, so not quite a week after the Great Winter Hunt ends, that is just shy of being 1 week. That's sort of the final closure. So at that point, you will no longer be able to buy any of the 2019 Great Winter Hunt rewards. You will no longer be able to send out golems. The vacant lot location will be removed from the map. But on that same day, we're planning to launch the Lunar New Year event, if all goes according to plan. But like I said, when we come back, we're going to be doing our final playthroughs, make sure absolutely everything's good to go, everything's looking as perfect as we can get it. So if all goes according to plan, on January 14 will be the launch of the Lunar New Year event, and it will go for 2 weeks. So assuming that it does go ahead and launch on January 14, it would end on January 28. And those are all the dates that come to mind. And we have a couple other little things coming out in the month, but I won't think there'll be anything you'll necessarily take note of. We grouped together a whole lot of bug reports recently, actually, because we got a little bit busy putting together some of the events, and so kind of our backlog of non-critical bug fixes was getting a little longer than we like it to be. So we grouped them all up together, and we're going to ship a massive amount of bug fixes. Nothing critical, but the kind of smaller scale stuff. Probably toward the end of January as well, so there'll probably be some extensive patch notes for that release. Chong asks, will it be the same? We need to get all the Zodiac mice before we can start burning them candles. Yes, that is correct. So it'll be the same as previous years, just the theme has changed. Last year, was it the year of the pig or the dog last year? Now I can't remember. Or I guess technically still is. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know, but it'll be the year of the rat-themed event. And it is the costumed rat mouse, which I believe Jacob said he had a little bit difficulty putting that character together because the mice in MouseHunt, he said, look a little bit more like rats than they do like mice. So it was a little bit of a difficult character to put together. Brian helped me out. It is the year of the pig currently. So last year's event was pig themed. This will be rat themed. Chong says, usually Lunar New Year is 2 weeks. I do believe so, yeah. I think it's been 2 weeks historically. Brian says, red candles and chests would have been nice. Red candles were extremely rare last year, only arming the limited Nangouta. Yeah, it's similar to the Great Winter Hunt. That has been kind of our... we've been experimenting with adding kind of 2 tiers of the resources or cheese. And so for the Great Winter Hunt, that's the pecan pecorino versus the glazed, and it helps us kind of make the drop rate of the regular pecan pecorino a little bit higher, as well as we can hand out a little bit more of it through various other kind of means without it kind of taking away from the ability for the event to earn revenue to support the game as well. So it's kind of our we've been experimenting with better ways to kind of manage the game's monetization, or find that nice balance between being able to do everything you can without having to spend any money. That's always our goal. But we also don't want the loot or the drop rates to be too low, or for it to take too long if you're going through it without buying something from the premium store. So with that in mind, the Lunar New Year, that's kind of our attempt as well, between the double and the triple candles, having the white ones much more accessible, so it doesn't feel as grindy and you're just waiting forever to collect the candles that you need. But by having that extra tier, then we can still offer something for sale to support the game. But yeah, we welcome kind of feedback as we continue to kind of try to always experiment and find new ways of kind of balancing that out. Chong says, would animated snow and rare naughty list chests be removed before Great Winter Hunt 2020? Yes, that would be the plan, similar to what happened this year. So, in a nutshell, unless we miss a spot somewhere, the goal is at the beginning of the Great Winter Hunt, should we repeat the Golem event next year, that you don't start with any Golem parts or animated snow, or a way to kind of build Golems right off the bat. So all the Golem parts melt away, the animated snow kind of loses its magic and fades away to nothing. That said, all the cheese will remain behind, all the charms, those don't go anywhere. Kind of a rule of thumb, anything that's sold for cash in the premium store, there's no chance those would be removed, although no guarantee that they'll be used in future events. But kind of the other sort of HUD-based resources, some of those may go away. Same with the cookies as well. The cookies are removed so that when the 2020 Great Winter Hunt starts, you can't just buy all the rewards on day one. It would kind of defeat the whole purpose of the event and feel a little bit odd, I would think. Veronica says, Happy New Year from Quebec. Happy New Year to you as well. You might be one time zone over, or maybe not. I don't think that, yeah, not all of Quebec is. Yes, if the event is rerun. It's Michelle answering that question as well. What happens to golems who are out when the vacant lot goes away? I guess they're left to fend for themselves, or they get caught out in the warmer temperatures, and much like Frosty the Snowman, melt away to nothing, but they'll be back again someday. Michelle says Bug Blitz. Yeah, that is what we're our code name for that milestone that we put together, just because we need something to name. Sorry, the development branch. And something in the project management software as well. We called it Bug Blitz. So I know Michelle's been seeing that term being kicked around for quite a while. It's quite the extensive list of bug fixes now. I wonder how many things are in there. I better drink some coffee here for. Let's see, Bug Blitz 2019 coming out in 2020. Oh, look, still a couple things. Oh, look, they're assigned to me. Add charm bits and rift curd to Whiskerwood's rift shops. That's on my task list for next week. And test all areas features with migrated HUDs. Oh yeah, Andrew did quite an overhaul to a whole lot of old HUDs, just kind of, we call it technical debt. It's typically things that players won't notice, but we as developers will notice. It'll make it easier to maintain going forward, or it might improve the performance, that sort of thing. But we did touch quite a few HUDs, so we got to kind of run through and just play through everything, get a second set of eyes on that. But I was wondering here, if I look at all tasks in this, what did we get up to? Is there no way I can see the total number here? I don't think I can. Well, there is fewer than 100, more than 50. I can't believe it doesn't just show me the total. Yeah. Oh, there it is, 68. So there are 68 various tweaks, fixes, and minor adjustments that are put together in that bug blitz branch. KDM says, what's the plan for 2020? Which new areas? That's still a little bit up in the air, and so that's always something that we do at the beginning of the year as we get together as a team and we review the previous year. We look over kind of some of our proposed roadmap for the year and just kind of get everyone's eyes on it to kind of sanity check, see if, well, does this still make sense? Is this still what we want to do? So probably more information will be forthcoming later. 2020 Year of the Noble 2.0. See, I'm a little apprehensive. We're kind of re-gearing a little bit. Like I think I mentioned on previous Feedback Fridays, one of the devs, Kevin, he moved on to pursue some other career opportunities. And so that kind of put us a dev down at the end of the year there. But we did do some hiring and found someone we think would be a great fit for the team. They'll be starting in the new year as well. But then, so a lot of us was kind of, we're getting the momentum fired back up again. And I think we'll be looking to maybe add another dev in the not too distant future as well, just to make sure we have lots of bandwidth. Bintang asks, is there any usage for confetti? Why the heck is it in the premium shop bundle? Just years ago it started as a little fun item, and I don't think it technically even costs anything in that bundle. It's just thrown in there for fun. Just because we liked how confetti gets everywhere. You can never quite clean it all up. And then because it's a collectible in the game, we have to just continue to have it in the game forever. So I believe once a year, I think on New Year's Day, or maybe it was New Year's Eve, one of the two, the gift of the day is confetti, or at least it was in 2019, or is in this phase of the Great Winter Hunt. And then other than that, I don't know if there's any other way to get it that comes off the top of my head. I think it just appears as the gift of the day that one time, and then there is some included in the New Year's party ball, which is basically some Super Brie with confetti thrown in for free just for fun. KDM says, we've been waiting for the costume wrap mouse for a decade. Well, yeah, I think Jacob did a good job on it. Has a little bit more of an elongated nose, kind of the bigger, gnarlier rat teeth. I believe as well the element for the year of the rat, if I understand correctly, is metal. And so his take on that is the costume rat mouse has a guitar, is given the metal symbol up in the air there, and is rocking out. So he's playing some heavy metal in that costume. Beck asks, what happens to golems who are out when the vacant lot goes away? I think somebody else had that curiosity earlier as well, and I think much like Frosty the Snowman, they melt away, but to come back again someday. Oh, yeah, and Beth says he literally just answered that question. Well, maybe Beck just joined us now. The benefit of the doubt. Brian says, speaking of the HUD, on the classic one, the timer has seconds initially, then suddenly disappears and only has minutes. That's interesting. So let me switch over to the, what's it called here? We got game settings, new navigation button style. So I turn that off. Okay, yeah, I think I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, you could go, well, I'll take out, actually I have a notepad here, so let me jot that down as a note. We're doing our best to continue to support that old look and feel of the buttons there. And so, yeah, that can get logged and we can look at that. I'm turning that off now. This is one of the rare times actually I have multiple monitors during Feedback Friday. This is kind of nice because being at home, I have my laptop on my desk, and then because I have my regular desktop computer with 2 monitors. I have 3 monitors. I can actually look at the MouseHunt game while I'm also streaming and seeing the chat all at once. What luxury. Yeah, Beth has a good point there too, kind of reading between the lines of that question about the golems is there is no partial claiming of a reward. So you want to make sure before you send out a golem that you will be able to take 25 hunts to have it return and claim your reward. Otherwise, you may be better off exchanging the animated snow for summoning bells to get it to return immediately. That said, the summoning bells won't go away like golem parts do. So I guess if you're really nervous about it, you could get 3 summoning bells or 1 summoning bell if you only have 1 golem going out and hold on to it just in case you think you can't make it. Just keep in mind, Wednesday, January, I better look at a calendar. Before I say any dates, I always gotta look at a calendar. Wednesday, January 8th is when it ends, and it will end approximately 11 a.m. Toronto time, which is where our office is. And, ooh, I just turned off my monitor. That's not gonna help me. Which is about the time Feedback Friday starts. So that's kind of an easy way to remember it as well. That's typically when we do our code pushes as at 11 a.m. It's kind of a routine that's worked out well for us. We make sure everybody's there. Everyone's got a coffee in them. It gives a little bit of time as well. We kind of look through everything one last time, load up all the details into short-term memory so we're ready just in case anything doesn't go according to plan when we do the code push. Birthday event has confetti too, I think. Okay. I don't know off the top of my head. KDM says technically gold instead of metal. Okay. I may have misunderstood there. Gold is a metal though, so I think it'll still count in the character. Chong asks, is the rainbow scroll phased out? Technically, no, they're not a limited edition item. When and if we do a King's giveaway next, I don't think there'd be any plan to not have them return with that. They're certainly a popular part of that. And for a while, we did struggle with finding a way with doing King's giveaways to make it fun and entertaining, but not all about, can you find the absolute rarest mice in the game, which can set up people for a little bit of disappointment because obviously the way it's set up is not everyone's going to catch one, right? So it makes it very kind of the gameplay there is a challenge to come up with something that's still accomplishable or that you can go and take part in, even though it might not be a leprechaun or a mobster. But the rainbow scroll cases seem to be quite popular there, as well as with the mystery prize packs. Eileen says, I never knew that Lunar New Year animals also had elements. Now I'll have to look them up and go check out all the costumes. I think, is there a color as well, or am I mistaken? I feel like there's a few themes that are associated with each of the Lunar New Year animals. I could be wrong. Bloodshot says, will there be a skin for Dragon Slayer anytime soon? It's crossed our plates every now and then, or crossed our minds anyway. What we normally do there is we look at what some of the more popular traps are, and when we're kind of deciding to do a skin, when we're putting together a content release, often we allocate, okay, we want 2 skins as part of this release, but we don't necessarily decide exactly which traps we are going to do the skins for right then and there. Sometimes, but not always. So looking now, I'll see with events going on kind of skews it a little bit. But let me go back to, let's say July 1st, 2019 up until today. And we're going to look at the most popular used trap. Is the Golem Guardian still reigns supreme, which is a little exempt from skins because it has a very special use where the skins change its power type. The Time Split Dissonance trap and the mysteriously unyielding null onyx rampart of cascading amperes, or otherwise known as the Menorca, is also tied for first. So 7% of players have used that since, what date did I put here? July 1st. School of Sharks is popular. Chrome Stormrot Ballista. Also can look at engagement. Now that's the Celestial Dissonance trap. Although only 0.2% of players have used it, those players on average have done 74 hunts a day with it. So those players are playing a whole lot, probably in the Valor Rift, if I had to guess. The Glacial Gatler as well. Not very many people use it, but they do a ton of hunts per day with it. But anyway, that's kind of how we approach that. The Dragon Slayer, we'd probably wait. I think actually we spoke about potentially doing it for Lunar New Year. However, because it's on the reward track, we wanted to pick a trap that maybe more people had already, and maybe save that for a more, I guess not optional skin, but something that's a more kind of superfluous reward, if I could say that, something that's kind of above and beyond, or that might be a good candidate for a skin that we sell because it's not something you get as a reward for completing an event, because I feel like you might want to put that to good use, and it's a little anticlimactic if you finish the event and you get a skin for a trap that you don't have, just because so few players have that trap. Ernest says, any major changes to Lunar New Year if you're just joining us? Nope, not really. The only big change is in theme. It'll be about Year of the Rat instead of Year of the Pig, but other than that, you can expect everything else to be pretty much the same. Jonathan Barry says, hey Dave, hello back at you. Bintang says, so after Lunar New Year, it's Valentine on February and another dead time until B-Day. Let me see here. I keep turning off my monitor. I gotta move that hotspot. Where did my calendar go? Okay, so yeah, there we are. So Lunar New Year does come a little bit early in 2020, which is why it is coming so early in January. And then Valentine's is February 14. Now we have Valentine's mice, so we do like to make sure that we do a little something for Valentine's. We're doing a little bit of brainstorming, open to feedback on it as well. We're thinking about potentially transitioning those mice to being bonus catches so that we can add them everywhere in the game. And it just kind of becomes more about a bonus loot event, an opportunity to get some Valentine charms. And actually, I'm a little foggy on it. We have a little pitch document. Let's see if I can find it. I think I put together some of our brainstorming notes into a little kind of pitch document, but I'm a little foggy. That was quite some time ago, it feels like now. Valentine's heart shards, there it was. Yeah, Hunt the Valentine's event mice. And yeah, we have option A as bonus catches. And you let me know what you think of that in the chat. So they'd appear in every location in the game. They'd appear as bonus catches, similar to how prize mice work, where you catch your normal mouse, but then additionally you get a second mouse. And they can be encountered no matter what kind of bait is armed, if that was the case, versus stockpile locations. So Valentine's event mice, this is kind of option B. They would appear in select locations. The event mice are captured as normal, so they're not bonus catches. They consume your bait, and you catch them as you would any other mouse. And they're only encountered when you use sort of standard bait types. So that's your cheddar, marble, brie, gouda, super brie. Find the chat here again. Plus 9,000 to bonus catches, but will they drop the area loot like previously? I don't think they would. We did that to kind of not take away from being able to progress in that area. If we made them bonus catches, they would just be dropping. Well, actually, we were exploring a little bit of a different reward structure there. So, kind of the part 2 of this little pitch was kind of similar to Ronza's Chrome Bit event or the Halloween spooky Ghost Ship event. You'd loot heart shards, kind of working title, but you loot this item that they drop, and it progresses you along a reward trap, just like Ronza's Chrome Bit event. And at specific markers, you can earn event rewards that can be claimed. And so there'd be things like a new Valentine skin, some Super Brie, maybe a new journal theme. We were brainstorming potentially a Valentine's base that'll pair well with Valentine's charms, as well as then obviously earning Valentine's charms, lucky Valentine's charms, the various Valentine's collectibles as well. You need a way to get those. And we're brainstorming a couple other ideas there as well. A couple people had a little problem with the stream. Hopefully it should be pretty good. Being at home, my internet is a little bit better than the office's internet, surprisingly enough. I think just because we're in such an old building in downtown Toronto, it's hard. We can't get like fiber optic or even cable. I think we're using phone lines still, but at least I think we got, no, we still have them bonded. I think it's multiple phone lines that get bonded into one, but we did upgrade some of our hardware, I think, a little bit, and that seemed to help quite a bit. We'd frequently have problems when a lot of people were on the network. Bonus catches is good, Bintang. Brian says, if all our bonus catches, will there be Valentine's maps? It was how we got all previous Valentine skins previously, or will we all be donate only this year? Like I said, I think we'd explore a reward track similar to Ronza's Chrome Bit event, where you hunted mice and they dropped the chrome bits and that filled up a progress bar. And then when the progress bar got so full, you got to claim a special reward for doing so. And then when you're all done, you could cash out all the chrome bits you found into kind of like smaller little consumable goodies. But off the top of my head, I don't know if the bonus catches work with maps. I suspect they don't, but I don't know off the top of my head. So that is a good point, actually. I might take note of that as well. If we do bonus catches for V-Day, then maps may not work. Which maps for that could be fun. Lewis says, came in late. Is bonus catches going to come in the future? We were just discussing that with Valentine's mice, so we were weighing the pros and cons, and we're looking at various options. And this is good feedback to get because very early in the new year, we're going to get together and we're going to review this Valentine's mini event pitch document here. And the whole MouseHunt team, we're going to go through kind of the pros and cons and weigh our options there between doing bonus catches or stockpile locations for the Valentine's event of how you'll go about capturing the Valentine's themed mice. When will floating islands be launched? That's something we're going to kind of look over in the new year as well. The art team as well, though, kind of anytime they have spare cycles, they've been filling that in with illustrating all the characters for that area. So we kind of scoped out what mice will need. So the art's coming along well, but we have not so much as created the development branch to actually start coding the area, and it would be quite massive as well. So we're going to kind of regroup a little bit and just get everybody on the same page. Bring back a couple of orcas as 18 mil in the marketplace. Well, that's also can be exciting as well. I feel like there are definitely some players who enjoy there being valuable things in the marketplace as well, and it gives good use for gold as well. There's definitely, once you upgrade your traps and whatever you spend on cheese, typically you make it back in the gold that you get from the mice. And so that means your gold just keeps accumulating. And so it is nice as long as not everything's expensive, but it's nice that there are some kind of lofty goals that you can save up your gold and put that towards. Otherwise, there's nothing to do with your gold. So those are kind of important economic items to exist out there. Any more thought to longevity years hunting bonus trap modifiers? I don't know if I quite follow you there. You'd asks any plans for new areas this year. That's still kind of yet to be determined, the exact plan there, so I won't go into any details, I think. Orca is a Valentine skin, should come back. Yep, that is becoming increasingly challenging, and I think we're going to have to create a tool on our end to keep better categorization of all the skins. Even with the Great Winter Hunt, there was a lot of hair pulling toward the end as we were trying to make sure we did not miss any of the plethora of Great Winter Hunt skins to make sure they were all available in one way, shape, or form. So I think we're going to have to kind of get better at our back-end tools there to make sure we can categorize skins by the event or something like that. Because that's definitely every time we redo an event, there's a little bit more. There's more sort of I's to dot and T's to cross, if you will, as we have to make sure we look through all the previous iterations of that event and supply or provide a way of getting things that were provided in years past. Will there be golems for Great Winter Hunt 2020? Much too soon to make a decision. Certainly the golems have proved to be a very popular format, and it definitely does help us out a little bit when we can reuse previous events. That said, there's still quite a bit of work goes into relaunching an event, and actually it can be, like I was just saying earlier, it can be a little bit of challenging when you don't have that blank slate, but to kind of make sure you find all the little details about an event. But that said, events are a little bit, they'll always be like that for sure. So it's too soon to say whether the golems will be back, but it's definitely something we'll bring up later in the year as we get closer to planning out the 2020 Great Winter Hunt. But we'll wait for the 2019 to at least come to a close before we decide about the 2020. Can you bring back the MouseHunt album back to the iTunes store? That's interesting. I don't know why it would not be available there. I can take a note there. It's a bit of an oddity, though, where the album is put up there. I don't even know if we really have access to it. just kind of a side project done for a little bit of fun there, because previously one of the owners, he is a musician, and so he thought it'd be fun to put together a little Mouse Hunt album. But then throughout the years, I don't quite know where all the details about the album would reside, but I would think that would fall under the umbrella of our intellectual property, at least being referencing so much in the game. Lewis asks, any thoughts on how long the Chinese New Year event will be? It will last for 2 weeks, so whether it launches on the 14th or probably a week thereafter, whenever it does launch, it will be 2 weeks long. Brian, I remember Dave mentioned that they were considering a crystal library overhaul that provides higher ranked players with bonuses in old areas. Not sure if that is moving forward. That was just kind of an idea, one that I really liked. I think Franco originally pitched it. But yeah, it's just kind of chilling out in the idea bank. It definitely hasn't been slotted in the roadmap. But for whatever reason, I think I like content that enhances other content. So I think I get excited whenever I think about or come across an idea where, hey, if I do this, it makes me stronger in this other area, because I feel like it's cohesive, like it synergizes well. And it's for me at least, it's very rewarding. I can go, okay, I want to do this really hard thing. I'm going to do this first to make myself stronger, and then I'm going to go try to do the really hard thing. Now that might just be me. I think that's very much the type of gamer I am. If I'm playing like an RTS or something like that, whether there's rush or boom, if I can use those terms, I'm the guy who booms. I sit in my base and I become way overpowered, and then I go out and I hit you with everything I got, kind of thing. Or I like playing city builders, where just over time your city just gets bigger and bigger and more elaborate. But barring some disaster, you never really move backwards. Or you can always kind of make sure, okay, I've got everything I need before I move to the next phase. Demon Eye says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Also, I hate the Joy Mouse. I don't think it'd be that uncommon. I believe you need the glazed pecan pecorino to find the Joy Mouse. Yudhishthira asks, any use for mega tournament token, maybe a new tournament base? That might just tie into or go under the category of tournaments need a complete overhaul. There's definitely been a few pitches floating around. I think most recently Andrew put together an idea stub as well of how we could overhaul tournaments, and it's just kind of a bandwidth issue where we haven't been able to prioritize that. Bintang says, please don't rush Floating Island or Tribal House. Give us your best. We will try our best for sure. Definitely we value quality over quantity, and so when something isn't just right, we're usually not too shy about giving it a little bit more time that it needs. That definitely happened with the Valor Rift. It was kind of it proved to be quite a challenging one to put together at the end there. That said, it's always a little awkward with events, because obviously the Great Winter Hunt can't launch in April or something like that, so those ones have a little bit more of a hard deadline. Michael pops in and says, just want to say Happy New Year to all mouse hunters. Very close to 1 billion points. Hopefully Chinese New Year will not slow me down much. Well, congratulations in advance on 1 billion points. That is a big milestone. Demon says, yes, but getting glazed pecan is near impossible. A good way to do it is tournaments, because there's so many people in the tournaments, and the point structure of the tournaments results in a massive number of ties. So it's very easy to place in the tournament. And unless I'm wrong, most of those tournaments should give out a little bit of glazed pecan. Keep an eye as well on the Facebook page for those various Larry reward links that pop up. Some of those are glazed pecan pecorino. Did show up as gift of the day a few times as well. And then finally maps. I believe in the treasure chest there should be some glazed pecan pecorino as well. Chong says, can the regular tournament be made like event tournament, which actually give people a reward based on the area they are doing the tournament in? That's an interesting suggestion for sure, and I think that would be something kind of if we overhaul tournaments, they'd be a little bit more about kind of bracketing and theming them more about the area that you're hunting in, just because it is a challenge, or it's proved to be challenging to make more kind of generic tournament specific rewards. It doesn't kind of scale as well, and it kind of creates these segments of either you do tournaments or you don't, and then there's very different kind of reward groups there. Bryant has been waiting a decade for endurance tournaments with multipliers like the good old days. Yeah, the original spec for tournaments, there were the basic, and actually to this day, I believe it's still in the interface. Let me see here. So I go to look at a tournament. Yeah, you may as well join number 34 mega tournament. Yeah, so there's a good example. Like I just joined the Mega New Year's tournament, and it's very unlikely that I won't at least place. So that'll get me 4 glazed pecan pecorinos. So if just you can queue up 3 tournaments at a time as well. So make sure you just join the next 3 if you're going to be awake, at least to do a quick hunt or something like that. Yeah, in the interface you can see standard tournament, and it says they're all standard tournaments though. But actually, even the assets exist. The endurance tournament is like a flaming cup of coffee because they were longer, and the more, it's been so long I can barely remember how they work. Yeah, you build up a multiplier. So as long as somebody caught a mouse in the last hour, you keep building up this multiplier, and then your tournament points get multiplied by that. But I'll see that mechanic encourages you to not leave the game at all. So it's not very passive friendly. And so the kind of the original idea was to have a few different types. So some that would be a little bit more casual and passive friendly, a little bit. The other ones would be a little bit longer, but you definitely could not leave the computer very much. And then finally would be I forget the name that they were even given. But then those were meant to be more of a passive type tournament with good rewards, where you show up, they're very long, they would be several day long tournaments, but every day you had some very important hunts to do. So on the HUD it would say, okay, your next 10 hunts, your tournament points will be multiplied by 100, and then that goes away. So it's very passive. You can show up, you can choose where you want those hunts to be, or if you want to be a little more active, you could be strategic about it. We're playing around with the ability to pause that, and so you could save that up if there's a mouse, like say the Warmonger. You can only capture it so much, so you could try to rush another Warmonger in the same day and use your multiplier on that mouse a second time. But yeah, definitely all idea bank stuff. It's been kind of more of a bandwidth issue before we've been able to overhaul tournaments. Yeah, Ryan suggests more single and 2-person tournaments at least. I think that helps as well if you have kind of a smaller group of friends. You don't quite want to team up with strangers if you find it's a little harder to coordinate with them. Chong says, surely giving 10 Galleon Gouda to a gold trophy team wasn't too much to ask for high sea hunting. Well, unless it is deemed as, when you look at the tournament interface here, unless it shows up under special tournaments, that's sort of the designation that those have unique rewards for that specific tournament. And typically those are mostly just event ones, not kind of area tournaments. Angel says, I've been with you guys since almost the beginning and took quite the break. Came back last year. I was excited to see all the changes that you guys made to improve the game. Well, thank you very much, Angel. Nice to hear that. And good to have you back. Glad you're enjoying the game. Ray with a big thumbs up. Katrina says, even if you compete alone, you can still get a challenger competitor often. That is correct, actually. I've been chilling out. The same 2 other people on my team pop into tournaments, but it's rare that all 3 of us are online at the same time, and I've still not had too much trouble, at least finishing in the top 50%. Thanks to the ties, yeah. Lewis asks, can we have a look on the beauty of Lunar New Year stuff? Let me see what I can find. Unfortunately, because I was doing some other work on this machine, and I had to switch my version of PHP, so I cannot actually, at the moment, load my version of MouseHunt, which makes it a little harder to find stuff, but I think I can find it somewhere else. I could switch it back, but it'd probably take me 5 minutes to reconfigure everything. Lunar New Year. So we'll be able to load up the costumed rat mouse. Show you Jacob's take. I believe he painted this during a Feedback Friday art edition, so no spoiler, no spoiling. Except I can't find it. Oh, because it's not an open task anymore. Costumed rat mouse. And where is the transparent PNG? There it is. All right. So take out the 2020. And we will find Lunar New Year costume rat mouse PNG. Brian says, Jacob did both the rat jade base and the costume rat mouse on Feedback Friday. All right, so if you are a regular watcher of Feedback Friday, no spoilers here. But there is the costume rat mouse. I quite enjoy the take on it. Jaron says, good morning, Dave. Hope you had a good New Year. Has been good so far. Yeah, it's been good for me so far. Hopefully, same to you. Happy New Year. Hope you've had a good New Year in these first 3 days of 2020. Jonathan says, I'm curious why the tournament ties work like they do. Most competitions don't work that way. Well, it's not to be too sort of serious or intense of a competition. It's more, it's a game. And I think it's a little more fun if more people get to kind of place than if fewer people. Even if we were to overhaul things, I think you'd get something no matter what you did. And it'd be more about kind of rewarding you based on how well you did, but not rewarding you. It's just... unlike a real competition where you want to see who's the best of the best, I think you still want to see that in a video game competition. But I think it's a little bit frustrating if you get absolutely nothing for your time, because so much of MouseHunt specifically is about converting time as your most valuable resource in the game, and you're choosing what you want to convert your time into to then help you in the future make more efficient use of your time, I guess, or just see how far you will get. Bach says, any new traps during Lunar New Year? I don't believe so. I think just skins. Brian says, any new Lunar New Year tournaments might be a good way to earn Nangata, like how we did Glaze for Great Winter Hunt tournaments. Yeah, we can look into that. Again, it's kind of tough Lunar New Year because it's meant to span the entire game, and it's a little tough to have kind of specific event mice driven content. Bintang, I don't want to see that previous iteration of the costume rat mouse. And Jaren says, are you guys going to focus on event season, or are there any smaller projects between now and the end of event season? It's a little soon. We'll kind of get together to review our roadmap, so I don't really have any concrete plans for 2020, just a whole lot of kind of tentative ideas and stuff, but it's something we kind of discuss as a team, and we kind of roadmap that out. We did pretty good last year. I remember Giorgio and we sat down and we looked over our 2019 roadmap, and I think we finished about 95% of it, which was good. A few things kind of fell by the wayside. Some challenges came up. All right, on that note, as I said, I was going to pop on for a quick Feedback Friday, and we very quickly have become a regular Feedback Friday of the 45-minute variety. So I think I will say goodbye now, Hunters. Thanks for joining me on this kind of Q&A, no plan ahead Feedback Friday. Thanks for all the comments, suggestions, and feedback as well. I even have a few notes here that I'll save on my desktop and bring into the office on Monday when we get back at it. So happy New Year, happy hunting. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you've enjoyed the Great Winter Hunt. And one last time, it will come to an end on January 8th, but you'll still be able to send out your final golem. So please begin to plan accordingly. And I can't find. I can't do two things at once. I can't talk and arrange my stream. There we go. No, I can't get rid of the costumed rat mouse. You may just have to chill out and say thanks for watching here on this closing slide. Jaron asks for a quar. Uh-oh. All right, fair enough. We can't end without a quar. So we'll visit Larry, who will provide me with a reward link, hopefully. Coffee's getting cold. All right, and today's reward link, sure, we'll do that. And sure, let's attach one of these. Now, I don't know what a good trivia question will be. Does anyone have a good trivia question in the chat? Maybe we can do Stump the Dev instead of Ask the Players. And if I get the question right, Larry will share a reward link. Which should probably be if I can't answer it, Larry gets a reward. Everyone in the chat gets a reward link. But GWAR, Great Winter Hunt Answer Reward. What was the first costume rat mouse to release for Lunar New Year? This is actually a good setup because I can't load my version of MouseHunt on my laptop. So actually I'm very limited here. Ooh, what would be the first? It wouldn't have been tiger, because we didn't do a mouse for the tiger, or did we? There was Heart of the Tiger. It was one of the first Lunar New Year events we did. I'm just going to go ahead and guess tiger. Someone's saying dragon, sheep. We're going to the wiki, people. Let's see what the wiki's got to say. This might be information that Brian put on the wiki. Who knows? Lunar New Year. Or actually costumed? Costume dog, costume rooster, costume monkey, costume sheep, costumed horse, costume snake, costume dragon in 2012, costume tiger in 2011. Moment of truth was the costume tiger. Look at that. All right. Rabbit, tiger, dragon. Well, that's a good way. Somebody's looking at the IDs of the mice. Yep, tiger. I still have the dev letter from Heart of the Tiger. All right, so look at that. I can't believe I got it right. I'm excited. So reward link coming in the chat, because that was an excellent question to ask. Couldn't have thought of a better one myself. I will put the reward link in the chat, and if I can find how to do so, maybe I can put that up on the screen as well. Oh, hey, look, I can get rid of that guy too. That's it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm pretty sure the chat appears next to the video now. So you'll be able to be much easier to click it. Nope. Than it is to type it out from a video. Text. I may have to find some new streaming software. Actually, I just noticed the company that makes this has ended support for this software. So I may be looking for new streaming software on Mac in 2020. Which last time I looked, the options seemed a little limited. You just have to build a desktop computer and on a Windows machine. And just keep it somewhere in the office, I guess. Awesome rib, Larry. Uh-oh. I believe that drop-down box, like the little interface to make a Larry link, we hard-coded some items like that. These aren't allowed to appear, and I believe the rib is one along with sandblasted metal, temporal shadow plates, Oasis water beads even. Nice red candles. Oh, just give me so much stress. I left it open in a tab, actually. No, that reward link is 10 glazed pecan pecorino, and you can also share a link with a friend, and you will receive 10 Let It Snow charms as well. If I can find the stream again, 10 something at least. All right, well, again, thank you for joining me, hunters. Have a, what am I doing here? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go, that's why. Okay, I'm having trouble getting the slide up that says thanks for watching. I've been struggling with that. All right, thank you for joining me, Mouse Hunters, on this quick impromptu, not so quick impromptu Feedback Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll be back in the offices next week, excited, refreshed, ready to hit the ground running on some excited things for Mouse Hunting 2020. So happy hunting, Happy New Year.
Have you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself, knowing you were made to rule, looking like a royal fool, if you only had someone to help. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long. Here's what I propose we do. I'm gonna count on you, give you all the cheese that you could ever want. If you wanna be your best, put your trap up to the test. Buy some Super Brie and watch the suckers come. Oh yeah, we got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. Yeah, I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Had you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself?